Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Silk and Soul. I am so grateful that you're here. Now grab a cuppa, get comfy, and let's dive in. Today I want to talk to you about how AI in all of its form, I guess, really is like cutting off the flow from our feminine energy, from ourselves really. And I wrote a post about this on my Instagram not too long ago, and like the response to this was like huge. And I think it's a shift that we are starting to feel as a collective at the moment. So before I go into that, I guess I just sort of share a little bit of my own AI like journey with you, and then afterwards also maybe talking to you about things that you can actually do to come back to yourself and find that voice, that, you know, your own inner voice. Now, I guess I can't even remember when I started using AI, but I guess with sort of everyone else, I'm a slight late starter when it comes to these things because I'm just a little bit skeptical. So probably slightly later than others would have sort of started using it. And in the beginning, you know, it's, I guess, the things that you sort of start Googling. And then it started to go more into the business side of things. Because then, you know, everyone was popping up, you know, how you can use AI to like run your business, to write your copy, to make it sound like you, all of these things to essentially make your life seemingly easier. I say seemingly. Now I started using AI to, you know, first of all, just to get to plan things within my business. And then it slowly evolved into, oh yeah, I don't actually know really what to post, so let's get ask AI to give me some hooks, some posting ideas, which then I was like, okay, great, these are great ideas, but I know this is not how my brain works. So I was like, okay, this is a great hook, this is a great sort of subject, whatever. I just don't know what to write about it, just because I work in a very unique way when it comes to my posts I channel. So I then started to ask AI to write my posts. That then, you know, evolved into essentially AI writing pretty much everything for me in my business. But me spending hours and hours and hours on AI to, you know, get the perfect hook, the perfect caption, the perfect sales page, the perfect wording for whatever it was. And then I realized it's, you know, all of these things, it sounds great. It's, you know, AI has written it, you know, as I've been told to use AI, I was using it. And I guess then there came the point when end of last year, when I sort of took December off to just do things behind the scenes and just to recalibrate, I guess. And I was just like, I don't know how to write anymore. I don't know how to channel, how to really bring across what I am. Because essentially my business is me. It's not separate from me. My business is me. And that's something that I've always felt very strongly about. So I built my business around my family, around my life, and it all sort of interweaves. So there is nothing really separate. And my daughter, she sees me work when she watches TV. And, you know, that's just the way it is at this moment in time for us. And I was like, okay, so the business, you know, I am the business, but I am not. AI is my business. And I was just like, really just like, like nothing sounds like me. I feel like I've completely lost myself in my business in AI. And I knew I had to step back, but I still was using AI for like bits and pieces. And it wasn't until like literally a few weeks ago when I'm just like, I can't even tell you what it was. It was just something inside of me. I was like, no, no, just no. So I've since like deleted AI from my phone. I do still have it. Obviously, I have access to it on the browser, but I'm just like, just no, just there is. I guess I can't really put it into words, to be honest, but something inside of me is just like, I want this to be my business. I want to call in the right people. I want to build this like huge community. And I can only do this if I'm me. I can't do this if like AI is pretending to be me, no matter how much I've trained it to sound like me. It's never going to sound like me. And it's so funny because I used AI because I wasn't getting the downloads, I wasn't inspired, all of these things. And now that I stopped using AI, I just realized just like how much AI was actually like holding me back and quieting my voice and like really disconnecting me from myself, my voice, my truth. And like, it's only now that I'm just like, I trust in my own process. And for years, I've been told that the way that I do social media, the way that I work, that I write, is wrong, essentially. So I very much don't plan. It does not work for me. So I essentially sit down in the mornings and just write. I just channel through whatever comes through, I will share. And as I just mentioned, for years I've been told, I can't do this. It's not the right thing to do. That's not how you run a business. And it's only now, like, and I don't know, I don't really know what's happened. And I'm just like, no, that is exactly how I run my business. This is what works for me. It doesn't work for me to sit down for hours to like write a post. It also is not true for me that, like, the opposite end of the spectrum, I guess, I see that I can create content in 10 minutes. Sometimes I can, to be fair, but again, because it involves planning, that's not how I work. I channel my content. It literally, the only way that I can explain it to me is it just drops into me. I just all of a sudden know what to write, and that's what I do. That's what I share. And because I've been told for such a long time that's not how you run a business, this is what then made me feel, because I need to plan and I can't plan. That's why I started using AI. But as a matter of fact, is all of these things, all of these people that told me, no, you can't do it like this. You have to plan. You have to know what you're posting about because you're running a business, etc., etc. And it's only now that I'm just like, yes, my feed is not perfect. It's not polished. It's not planned. It's a little bit all over the place. But that's what I am. That's what my life looks like. That's my truth. And that's what, I can only share from my truth. And for like the last year when I've been using AI, that I never had that truth, I guess, come through because it's really been blocking me. Like AI has like really been holding back my truth. And I want to say you will see the difference. If you go into my Instagram, you will see the difference where I've been using AI and where I'm not. Because to be honest, I've not gone in and archived any of the previous or deleted any of the previous content because part of me, it has come from me or through me. Like the majority of those are my ideas. It might not be my exact words, but I've never posted anything that's not mine as such. So that's why I've left it, and that's going to be, you might hate it, you might like it, that's fine. We all got to do at the end of the day what's right for us, and I'm not judging anyone for using AI. I'm just bringing awareness to it, how you might be actually blocking your feminine flow, your own rhythm, your own truth, your own wisdom that is trying to come through. Because at the end of the day, I was outsourcing myself. I just wasn't outsourcing myself to another person. I was outsourcing myself to AI. And I was giving all of my power away. It's just a bigger conversation, I think, to be had with how we're using AI and what we're actually using it for. And for me, over the last few weeks, when I sort of realized, like, oh no, this is like literally blocking me. The very reason why I'm using AI, that is blocking me. Like, AI is blocking me for that very reason. So I've honestly never felt more like connected to myself and like my guides and like the energies around me and just everything, like the whole world around me. And I guess that's the other side of AI. I wasn't just writing posts and copy for through with AI. I was also going to AI for like advice. And it's like, oh, I had this dream, or I've pulled this tarot card. What does this mean? Instead of asking myself, asking, my guides, my ancestors, like just asking anyone, like another person, that is actually like an astrologer or whatever, that actually knows their stuff. And I think that's also one of the big reasons why we don't feel connected to other people anymore. Because we've got AI to answer all of our questions. We've got like the answers at the tip of our fingertips. Tip of our fingertips? That's not even the same, but you know what I mean. So and I've started like essentially pulling that all back and get the wisdom back into myself. And I've had so many huge experiences since then, and really connected to my spirit guides and like wisdom keepers, and just to myself, to my own cyclical wisdom. And this is, I guess, talking for 12 minutes now, what it is all about, like coming back to ourselves, our own rhythm, really tuning into our cyclical rhythm, our cyclical being, our feminine flow, like our own truth, and just connect with that inner wisdom, because we do have all of this. I'm actually a great believer that we have all of the answers inside. We just don't take time to listen or ask, or even ask. We tend to ask other people or AI before we ask ourselves. And this is really what, I guess, for me, 2026 is like all about. It's just like coming back to that wisdom, really. Things are not perfect. The words that come out might not be perfect. Like, as I just told you, I don't plan. It's like for this podcast, I just sit down and channel what comes out. So today we're talking about AI and how it essentially cockblocks our feminine flow. And it's, none of it is perfect. It might not make sense when you look at it from an outside point of view, but from if you talking your truth, regardless on what platform, how that may look like, but if you're talking about your truth, you're sharing your truth, there is a much, much bigger picture that the outside might not see, yourself might not see yet. But all you can do is just sharing your truth and like really starting to connect to that, to sit down and just be. It's just less doing and more being in your body, like in that feminine flow, in your own rhythm. And, you know, as I said, if you are using AI, there's absolutely no judgment from my side. I'm just sharing my truth when it comes to this at this moment in time, and maybe, you know, make you think slightly differently. And it might make you, you know, if you do have a question, don't ask yourself first. Actually, just ask yourself. If you have a question, sit down and just ask yourself. Because that's another thing that I've noticed. So I when I used to connect to myself, I had to like close my eyes, like ground down, all of these things. And now I can really like connect to myself and my guides, like with my eyes open. I can just do it, like essentially right now. I could do it. And it's such a refreshing experience, because when we think about going inward, we think about, like, you know, potentially sitting down like I am at the moment, like, you know, cross-legged on the floor, like maybe closing your eyes, like a meditation pose essentially. But, you know, what if we can access those things like throughout the day when we are like conscious, maybe even at work, whatever it is, and you just have a question? You know, what would it actually feel like to connect with ourselves, our guides, our wisdom keepers, like in our day-to-day, with no one really knowing, but you know you are so deeply connected and anchored. And that is literally what I feel at the moment. And a big part of that was to let go of AI, let go of, you know, having or feeling like I needed to have the right words, the perfect words, and essentially just sounding beige. And I probably still sound beige, but at least it's my beige. It's my shade of beige. So this is really this is literally all that's coming through right now. This is all what wants to come through. So I do hope that you enjoyed my little ramblings of AI. Some of the things that you can actually do just to come back to yourself is just to, what I just mentioned, instead of, when you have a question, instead of grabbing your phone or your laptop straight away, just ask yourself. Just maybe connect to your cycle every single day. Maybe just put a hand on your womb space, because that can be something really subtle as well, that is not as obvious maybe when you are out and about. These are just some really like slow, like subtle things, like little things that you can actually do to, you know, start breaking that cycle. And another thing I guess that you can do is to just write your truth, not for anyone else to be written, to be read, just to be written, just, or maybe spoken, however you like speak your truth. But just start creating from your own truth without, you know, without the intention for it to be shared. Because that's another thing. If you start like creating or just writing or speaking, and without you thinking that it's going to be shared, like you get so many golden nuggets through for yourself. And that's when you start connecting to your inner wisdom again. It's just like it's a practice. It doesn't come after one time. It's like repeated. It's like a repeated process. And eventually, without you even realizing, or maybe you will, I haven't certainly, you are within, you are in your truth, you are in your rhythm, you're just sharing whatever comes through without any judgment about yourself or self-reflection, or not the reflection, but without any self-judgment, self-doubt. You just share what is true to you. Okay, now I think I feel complete with this podcast episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to know your thoughts about AI and how you're using it, if you're using it, and maybe maybe something that you're maybe going to do different now after listening to this. But thank you so much for joining today, and I will speak to you next time.